Welcome to the Electron Lover. If you are making a product or service which connects to internet, you will surely need to write API documentation for users before deployment. So join me in my journey of making the best API documentation using Swagger plus Redoc. Let's have a look on the tools that we will need for API documentation. So what is Swagger? Swagger is a set of open source tools which is built around OpenAPI specification. Here we can build, document, test, and even host our REST APIs. The set of tools in Swagger includes Swagger Editor, Swagger UI, and Swagger CodeGen. Swagger Editor is a basic browser-based editor where we write the API specifications. Then the Swagger UI helps us to render the Open API specification as an interactive API documentation. We will be using Swagger Editor and Swagger UI for our documentation. And the third tool, Swagger CodeGen, generates code for the gateway through which all the client requests are routed. Now let's see what is OpenAPI. So this OpenAPI specification is a format you must follow for describing your REST APIs. It allows you to describe your entire API including the available endpoints, which are the URLs, and the operations on each endpoint, which could be get operation, post operation, or any other operation. It also includes input and output parameters for each operation, then the authentication methods and many other API details. The OpenAPI specification can be written in YML or JSON format. These formats are easy to learn and readable to human and machines. Now let's see the most important tool, Redoc. Redoc is an open source renderer for OpenAPI specifications. It enables your project to publish API as interactive online document. Your users can browse API methods, parameters, results, and view code samples. Basically, we pass the YML code which is written in Swagger editor following the OpenAPI specification to a Redoc renderer, which gives us a good looking interactive online API documentation. And yes, you can add some JavaScript to your page, add custom tags, and play with it as you want. So let's start our documentation. First, we open our browser and search for Swagger Hub. We open the Swagger Hub website, click on sign in, then sign up. Then we enter our details. Even we can use our GitHub account for signing up. After entering details, click on sign up. Write your organization name. Add members for collaboration if you want. Then we click on create a new API. We will be using version 3.0 and we won't use any template, so click on none. Give it a name, let's say API documentation. Its version would be 1.0.0. Let's give it a title, API documentation again, and the description. First, API documentation. Let's not change owner and visibility. Just click on create API. So this is how our Swagger editor looks. It is divided into three sections, which is navigation panel, code editor, and the real-time renderer. We will write API description for these three APIs. Out of this, login will have post method and have input parameters, username and password, and give user token or 400 error as response. Then logout will also be using post method, and it will take user token as input parameter and give success message or error 400 message as response. And the third API will be getUser, which will be using get method. It will take user token as input parameter and give user details, which is username, info, and birth date, or error 400 as response. So the first two APIs, that is login and logout, will come under auth tag, and the get user API will come under user tag. So now let's move ahead. We don't require this navigation tab, so just remove it. Now let's see in detail what the UI have to offer. So here is the description of our project. So firstly, I would like to change my description. Let's change it to welcome to the electron lover, a tutorial on the best API documentation, Swagger plus Redoc. Let's add a label for terms of service and give it a URL. For me, it would be my company slash terms of service. Then let's add contact details. First would be name, second would be email, and then the URL for your company. We can also add license. So let's give license name. We can also add URL for our license. We don't need these paths snippets, so just delete it. Now we all will have this URL in server section. Let's keep it as it is because it is used with Swagger UI. Let's copy this and add our own URL also for the development server. Give the URL of your development server. Now let's add security for our API. We'll be using API key auth as security. There are also many other security available. They are listed in the document section that I have attached in description. Now let's define the security tags. Let's make a component. Inside the component, we will define the security scheme, which is API auth key. It would have a type of API key. This auth key will be required in header, and its name would be X auth token. Now let's define tags and path for our API. Tags are shown in the navigation tab in the final API documentation. So let's define tags. First one would be auth, which will contain login and logout endpoints. And the second is user tag. Then let's define the paths. Inside the path, first one is login. First one is for login. The method would be post method. Let's give it a tag so that this endpoint will be shown under the auth tag. The description for this login API is it will verify a user and return the token ID. Let's give operation ID for this endpoint. This would be login. And then finally we describe the input parameters for this endpoint. For login, we will be needing the username and the password of the user. The name for the first parameter is login username. This parameter will be coming inside the query, that is the body, and required will be true. Let's give it a description which says username of the user and define its schema. Under the schema, uh, the type for username will be string, and let's give example for this login username parameter, which will be username. Let's control C, control V for the second parameter, that would be login password. Name would be login password. This will also be in the query section. it will be required, and description would be password for the user, and example would be password. Now let's describe the response for this endpoint. We will have two responses, 200 and 400. So for 200, we will give description, that is, if user is recognized, then the token is sent. Then the content for the response would be in application JSON format. Let's give it a schema. After successful login, we will be sending back a token key. So for that, we'll write schema in the component section below. So let's give it a reference and then define this schema in the component section. So the name of the schema would be login. Let's give it a description, that is schema for login. This response will be in the form of an object. So the type will be object. Then let's define the properties. The response will contain a token which would be of the type string, and let's give an example. A long random number. So we have successfully defined response for 200 for the login API. Let's copy this response and use the same code for 400 response also, which would be error. So let's change the description accordingly. Let's give the schema name as 400. Let's reuse the schema for login. We just change the name for the schema. $400 here, schema for 400. The type would be object only, and this will return error. The error will be of type string, and the example error would be bad request, invalid body in your request. So we have successfully described our first API, which is for login. Let's clear up our code a little. Let's add comment titles so that we understand our code in future. So for the logout API, let's Control C, Control V the login API and paste it under logout. Let's change the URL to logout. This will also use post method and the tag will remain same. Just change the description. This will verify a user and end his session. The operation ID would be logout. We will require only one parameter for logout, which will be token, and this token will be in header of the payload, and yes, it will be required. The description would be user's token. Inside the schema, the type will be string and the example will be the same as we defined earlier. This logout API will have a fairly simple response, so we can directly describe it here. The type for the response will be object, and inside the properties, the response will be success, which will be a string, and we can add an example saying user logged out successfully. So as we can see here, we can also write responses in the part description also. But when responses are complex, it is better to write it in a different component. So for login, we define the schema inside the component section. We can jump to the section like this. This is the schema for login. Let's have a look on the real-time viewer. This dropdown will contain the links for the server. Here we can see our two endpoints which we just wrote. These are all the parameters, the input parameters, and the responses, the content type and example of the response. This is for logout. The token will be in the header section. We can also see all the schema that we write. So this is schema for 400 and this is for login. So let's write endpoint for user. Let's Control C, Control V the logout endpoint and modify it for the user endpoint. The path will be get user for the user endpoint and it should be shown under the tag user. Let's give it description. This will verify a user and give his details. The operation ID will be get user details, and the parameter section will be same as logout. We will only require a token, and we will give user details as response. So let's write the response section for get user endpoint. It will also contain 200 and 400 as response. Let's describe schema for user inside the component section. The name will be user details for the schema. Now let's define the schema for user details. Let's Control C, Control V the schema from 400. Change the name to user details. Change its description to schema for user. The response will be as object only. Let's add all the properties. So in the response, it will contain username, info, and the birth date of the user. The username is of type string, and example is the electron lover. Info will also be string, and example would be technical lead at Infinity Systems. And finally, the birth date will also be in string, and example for it will be 09111998. So we can see as soon as we completed writing the get user endpoint, the UI has been created. It contains the token as input parameter, and the output response contain these three parameters, that is username, intro, and birth date of the user. Now let's see how our documentation look in Swagger UI. So change the server to the default mock server, and then click on view documentation. So this is how Swagger UI looks. If you host on Swagger Hub, then our API documentation will look something like this. These are the details of our API. These are the server URLs, and these are the endpoints with all their input and output parameters and examples. Now let's see how to integrate this code with Redoc. Now let's export the code into a resolved YML format. After it gets downloaded, copy the exported zip file into your project's directory. I'll create a folder over here, name it API documentation, and then drag my export into this folder, and then extract it over here. Then we need to make a index.html file. So go to new, and click on text document and name it index.html. Let's open this folder with VS Code. So right click and click on open with VS Code. So now we need HTML code for Redoc. So let's open our browser and search create display using Redoc and open this website. Here we can find the HTML code which includes the JS library from Redoc. This is a very simple code. It takes YML or JSON file and gets the Redoc source code using the script tag. What we need to do is change the source to our local openapi.yml file. For running this code, either we need to download all the source code of Redoc, or we can use the live share extension from the VS Code, which hosts our website on local server. After the extension is installed, click on this Go Live button from the live server extension. After clicking it, it will host our project on a local server. So that's it. Our API documentation using Redoc is ready. This is the tags section. All the tags are listed over here. We can see the server URLs in this section and the server responses. And the middle section contains all the parameters and the schema for the responses. Now we can change the Redoc.js code to change this UI as per our needs. So thank you very much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more such videos. And if this video was useful, please like and subscribe.